You know what everyone's basically saying? All right, Dancal, you wanna not have your balls clipped? You've got to chop off your legs. All right, you want to do that, Dancal? All right, we're doing that, Dancal.
Dancal, how about this?
Okay,
you're not giving them
what are your
colonies.
concessions then?
You're not giving them colonies, but you're giving them a quarter of your income.
Insane. Okay.
Dancal, what is your deal? Put a deal on the table. Like, what is your deal? What is the Dancal deal?
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you're willing to give up.
You are? Are you like you're gonna cut me off halfway through and yell at me to give more?
Alright, what can you say?
I'm gonna server mute everyone in here if I have to. I want to hear the Dancal deal.
Hit me with the Dancal deal.
Alright. That I make my own power block. Right?
Oh my
God. Okay.
Alright.
Okay. Everyone shut up. Okay.
And that I'd be allowed to have the other neutral nations in it.
No.
I'm not joining that shit.
And then what? And then what?
I never said neutral. You're not a neutral fucking nation.
What is neutral?
What neutral nations are you talking about?
Hold on. What neutral nations? Yeah.
Brazil and
Okay.
AI.
Okay.
Brazil
and then
AI?
what else? Hold on. What else?
Yeah.
What else? What else is part of the deal?
That's it. Brazil and AI. That's it.
This is the worst
So
power
your
block.
deal to Drake is let me make my own power block with Brazil and AI, and I get to keep all my colonies.
It keeps them out of. Yeah. Why did you keep mentioning the colonies? This never was on the table.
No, because Drake is letting you have these colonies. That's why it's on the table. You're not getting these colonies for free. Drake was allowing you to have these.
Also, DEI is just mine by right. Like, I don't know where the idea is that I'm allowed
by
to have
right? Somebody smacked this floor.
By right? My guy, this is the 19th century.
Somebody smacked this bozo.
Hold on. Where's the Will Wright quote? Where's the Will Wright quote? We're about the decisions of this era will be decided not by the fucking by the iron mine of the barracks.
Holy shit, man.
Your right to these colonies comes from the strength of your armies, Dancal.
Dancal, I'm gonna do something incredibly rare. Okay, I'm gonna actually agree with you in saying that if you frame this totally correct, okay, if you say this to Drake, okay, I know you're concerned about balance of power issues. That if I join some other person's power block, that I would supercharge their economy or give them additional economic or military leverage. Let me assure you that won't be the case, because if I have my own power block, I fulfill the interest of, I'm getting mandates to boost my nation without ruining the balance of power, right?
I don't recall him ever saying that Dancal can't have his own power block, by the way.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Dancal might be onto something here, because I don't think that's something that Drake has said either. He didn't say Dancal can't have his own power block, right? He just said he can't.
Dancal can't be a part of his own. Yeah. I will say, Dancal, the one flaw with your plan, with your deal, is that Commissar will not agree to be in your block.
I'm going to yell at Drake to demand your colonies.
Dancal, the one flaw with your deal is that Commissar will not agree to be in your block.
I was more.
To pull that out.
I was more on.
No, Commissar is to be in Drake's block.
I was more on the Dancal joining Julian or Will's block.
You think Joe is going to allow fucking Commissar to join Drake's block?
Commissar is Drake's best friend. One of Drake's best friends.
Yeah, Commissar
that doesn't mean Joe's going to let it happen.
Joe, are you going to let it happen? Joe, you're here, right?
No. But I have anything to say about it, and I do.
Also, you're not going to be able to do anything about it at the start of the game, Joe.
I hate to say it, but especially after the fucking crash out over, I'm going to take Pennsylvania if you go back on the Cuba deal. I don't think Joe is in any position to compromise on the Americas being under Monroe Doctrine and keeping the Euros out.
Yeah, but you have to remember, Dancal, that Joe's not going to be able to contest England at the start of the game.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be at the start of the game, Jack. If fucking
Commissar is going to join Drake at the start of the game. That's what I'm telling you.
He's not.
Question,
He's not, and I can assure you why.
Joe, can I ask a question? What enforcement mechanism do you have to stop Commissar from doing that?
Canada's right there, Kaiser. Right? Like,
it doesn't matter. You will get the pussy clapped by Britain at the start of the game.
Okay, who says the wall has to be at the start of the game, Kaiser? If you're
Smacking noises will be heard.
Let
Dancal talk.
Thomas, you're the instigator.
Thomas the instigator.
Please, for the love of Christ.
All of you shut the fuck up and let me talk.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to explain something. Right now, I do not have the means to do so until I do any sort of military buildup. The issue is that if Commissar is going to be joining any trade block, it's going to be done by 1860 at the latest. All right, and 1850 at like the earliest. And I'm going to explain why. Because what happens is that a commissar has to do a level of of agricultural buildup, because if he joins any sort of trade, any sort of power block, combining the two combining the two markets is going to destroy his internal economy.
There's a little flaw in the plan here, Joe. It's that Drake's has a sovereign empire, not a trade bloc, so they don't have a combined market.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work that way.
Unless you take a mandate for that, but no one does.
Yeah, which Drake simply will not.
Joe doesn't have to do the war day one, right? Everyone's acting like, oh, he has to do it early. Joe could simply
It's not about
wait.
it's not about doing
No,
the
let me
war
finish,
day one.
please. Please, for the love of God. He could just wait until he's had a big military build-up and then suddenly take Canada. And Drake can't stop, Drake has to cross the Atlantic, and if Joe has any semblance of a navy, he can just convoy raid. Alright? And it's like...
Guess who's here?
Oh my god, it's him.
Hey,
It's him.
Drake! Wow,
What's the fucking
look at
situation?
speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Dancal
That's what I
spitting
say.
some
I wish Julian
wild
was here.
shit right now.
I wish Julian
Jack,
was
you're
here
saying
too.
me out of everyone is spitting wild shit. Like, Jack is the
You
biggest
are!
backpacker, like, oh,
No,
That's enough.
Bro will do nothing but, plead for my death.
What's Kaiser's opinion?
Yeah, Kaiser's the GP.
Okay.
You guys see at the table.
My,
Alright, that's enough from Kaiser. Good job. Alright, just kidding.
Good job,
All
guys.
right. Hey, Kaiser,
You actually want my opinion
Yes,
or
we
not?
want your opinion.
Okay.
Yes, we want the Kaiser.
So Drake, to give you the breakdown, and I don't want you to say anything yet because I want to give my opinion. Dancal wants to join a power block. Now, with that being said, I'm aware that Dancal in this situation would have to give concessions colonially. It doesn't have to be everything.
Why does it need to be colonially? Why does
Dancal, shut
everyone
up.
say colonial?
Kaiser's talking. Shut
Dude,
up,
I
man.
don't-
Because Dancal, I have the talking pillow right now. Here's the deal, right?
God, dude.
Why? Okay.
Kaiser, continue.
What I think should happen is Dancal retains his ability to colonize the Congo, but loses South Africa. That goes to Britain, as it always should have gone. And also, perhaps there's another discussion over the Dutch East Indies.
Hey,
That
hey,
isn't...
Holy
guys.
Kaiser.
Let me just ask
No.
something to Drake real fast.
I'm
Drake,
sorry, what? Are you the
Drake.
Dutch or are you the Belgians?
did you ever disallow Dancal from not making his
Dude,
own
okay.
power block?
Can we
I'm
restart?
cool.
Hold on,
I'm
let's-
cool
let's-
with him making his own power block.
See this? See,
Can
there it
we
is.
restart? Can we just restart? Can you just briefly restart? I think we're getting off on the wrong foot about what
Yeah.
Dancal wants or doesn't want. Okay?
No, quite frankly,
Let's
putting words in his
okay,
mouth-
courtroom style. I'm the judge. Here we go.
All right.
Dankel, make your case. What do you want?
Okay. The first thing I want to say, alright, is, and I've reiterated this 20 times, but I'm going to say it again. If the cost is fucking anything colonially, I'm not fucking paying it, alright? I don't care what Kaiser says, oh, make concessions on DE. I'm not making concessions on Dutch East Indies. Like,
Okay, so you're not joining a power block.
well, you're not the one to dictate that, Kaiser, right? Why is Austria speaking for the British Empire?
No, I can... Drake, what do you think about that? What if he joined the German market and had all those
Minor power
colonies?
spitting some
The
fucking
the
bars.
concessions are not going to be colonial. They're going to be his life.
Look, Drake.
Whoa,
like,
whoa,
can
whoa.
I just act as Dankel's lawyer
Dude,
here?
the
right?
white-
Like,
the
Thomas
white
is
horse
the judge.
No, we need. Hold on. Who wants to be Dankel's lawyer? You can't be.
I will be Dankel's lawyer.
No, you can't. It can't be Will because you benefit from him doing something
What do
else.
you mean? I'm gonna.
If he joins your market, or it joins your power block.
Your Honor, I will represent myself.
You don't even know what I want to say. You don't even know what I'm about to say. Okay, Dankel's talking.
Wait, Thomas,
He's getting.
can you record this so I can look at
I've been
it back
recording
later?
for 10 minutes.
All right, good. We got the files this time.
Look, this.
What?
Okay, Drake.
Kaiser,
We're gonna
invite
start
me.
from the top. We're gonna start from the top. Okay.
Okay.
In the course of Dankel playing his test games, okay? You know,
Yeah.
he's been playing a gazillion test games before the
Yeah.
updates even started, okay? He's looked at his economy, and he realized, okay, I'm going to play the game normally without joining a power block, okay? Let's just say he's at like 5 million GDP, okay? And then he joins a power block, and because of the mandates, not because of like, you know, one single market or using the resources or the goods or whatever, right? He realizes he could be at like 20 million GDP, and that's just from early game or whatever, right? And he's thinking there's a really big opportunity cost, right, to him not being part of a power block. All right. And this whole thing obviously instigated by Thomas about getting like the three GPs to friggin' brainstorm and spitball this out, which is really retarded in my opinion. Okay. His main interest isn't he wants to destabilize the balance of power. His main interest is I just want the mandates. All right? That's really his main interest. And so far, kind of the thing that he's brainstormed right now is, how about I don't destabilize the balance of power. I don't join anybody's market and supercharge their economy or be part of their trade wars or whatever. I make my own power block using all the colonies and all the puppets that I got. I slowly build up the mandates. And this way I can build up the economic growth without disrupting the rules-based international order trade that you're trying to set up.
We also
if I may speak.
No, Kaiser gets to go first. Hold on.
I want to hear Dankel's explanation.
Yeah.
All right. The actual examples were, I've done obviously a lot of test games. That was correct. And by the same date, right, 1860, usually I have around 13 million GDP. But by joining a power block, I had around 30 million GDP. All right, so
The bonuses
and that was
are good.
just from the mandates. The bonuses are cracked. All right, and it's because I get the extra. If you follow the meta, which everyone does, you get UCC, which gives you huge construction buffs. You get the tech research, which is great, especially because I'm a really tech-heavy country, and you get the external trade, huge buffs on migrants. Yeah. Now, my problem, and this seems to be uncovered, is any of the big power blocks is what I want to join, preferential to my own, because the mandates for my own is one every 10 years, and for a big one, it's one every 6 months. And so, British, German, or French would be great. The problem is, when I said British, Will said I'm going to kill you, and obviously, the line for German or French is Britain will kill me. All right, so it's like, all right, so in the door on my left is a firing squad, and in the door on my right is a guillotine with a firing squad to follow it up. All right, so
I got a question,
so I'm in this
Dankel?
conundrum, right? And I will say I haven't done a test where I don't have any colonies, and the fact is, so much of my early game income is from colonies. It is unfeasible to give up any of them in the manner that Kaiser or Jack suggests.
So
Instead, Africa might be a concession. Congo and Dutch East Indies especially are not.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, Dankel?
Hang on,
Yes,
because you've been. Okay, fine. Go
Yes,
ahead. Then I won't
Okay,
go in.
so have you played a game where you had your own power block and you got the mandates that you wanted, including all the colonies that that was been
It takes
agreed
too
upon,
long. It
and it's
actually takes too long.
still once every 10 years, right?
By the time I get a mandate, and this is especially with 2 protectorates in South Africa, a protectorate in the Congo, Dutch East Indies.
Yeah.
By the time I get my full UCC, it is 1875, and that's
Like
just
from
the
game start to 1875.
Yeah, but I can't do it game start because Belgium has a weird situation where it's not prestiged enough for a power block.
Okay.
Okay.
And
so, sorry, did you want to finish?
yeah, and so it just even with I formed the power block around 1845ish, and then from then it's just really slow.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't believe it. Dankel's joining my power block.
Yeah, so the thing is, the way I view this is very simple. Dankel, joining any power block will skyrocket your economy. That is a threat to British interests in the
How is
English
that a
Channel.
threat to British interests? I love Britain.
Hang on, all right? I'd love to not be interrupted because I let you speak.
All right, do it.
Look, that is a threat to British interests in the channel, because that means you can field a larger navy and a larger army, and your foreign policy will be attached to whichever power block you join, which at this rate would be either Germany or France. Okay?
Or Britain's if Will wants to recount his
Or Britain. But at the same note, okay, if you join Britain, that is a direct threat to Germany and France. We've established this already. Okay? And Britain would see it as an absolute non-negotiable that you get Congo and South Africa and the Dutch East Indies and join a power block. So here's what I suggest. The Dutch and Spanish can make a power block. And in exchange, the Dutch can lose their claims on South Africa, but keep the Congo in the Dutch East Indies.
If this is true, right? Are the Spanish able to get the mandates faster than Dankel is
Oh
going to do it?
yeah.
Like, how much faster? Like, I mean,
I
is it
get
going to
one
be 10
every
years of
3
mandate?
years.
One every 3 years, huh?
Slightly faster as well because I'm in it. It just
So
depends if
the-
Sergio gets out of it.
It would be 1 every 2-ish years then.
So it'd be about 80% faster.
Yeah. Like,
Would that be amenable to you, Dankel?
Well, my concern with that was I did ask if I could join Sergio's power block, and that was also a no from you, Drake.
just considering it
willing-
right now.
I'm willing to reverse that decision
That would be
if
amenable.
the other major powers are also cool with that.
Is that within the condition that... Are there any attached conditions to that? Drake?
I was asking about South Africa. Do you want it? Or are we sticking with that deal on it?
Hey, man!
I'm
yes
gonna-
for an answer.
Fucking kill him, Drake! Piss on him!
Take him out. Take him out.
Bravo 6, go dark right now. Go dark. Go
I'm
dark
gonna
on
be
his ass.
honest.
Mask off!
South Africa has never meant anything to me, so like, it's never been
Yeah, but it means everything to Dankel.
Aside from when people mention it to me, I never think about it. I've never thought about it unprompted even one
Because Dankel's a
time.
minor.
Well, that's why our deal is so good, because you're getting money for something you don't care about.
Yeah, that's part of why I accepted the deal, because I was
Good
just
catch,
like,
good catch, Danko. Good
catch.
catch.
I straight up care so little about it that it's not even like a concession. Like I'm allowing him to develop a piece of land. I make a majority of the money from this specific resource, which everybody keeps talking about.
Good catch,
So,
Danko.
like-
you actually told someone how they benefit from the deal. That's great. That's some huge
Oh,
progress,
shit.
Danko. Huge
I
progress.
get it.
I love the backseat diplomacy. It's like having my mom and dad watch me make a trade.
Jesus.
The catch.
So yeah, like
Yay!
I think it's I'm cool with Dankel being in the same power block as Sergio.
My condition is, I think, you know, and this is what Dankel probably agreed to. I think Dankel should be his own market if that's the case. If he is gonna be part of it.
I'm not gonna have a trade league, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. Then that's perfectly fine. Then that's
Yeah.
my only thing.
What
All
are
right,
you
Dankel.
going, Sergio? Sovereign Empire?
All right, Dankel, you got what you wanted, right? Did you get what you wanted?
I did get what I wanted.
Dude, this
Okay,
is more productive
alright.
than the Ukraine Russia peace talk. This is crazy.
Dude, holy smokes,
I want to
man.
say thank you to Kaiser.
Hey, you didn't.
I
I
wanna
can't
say-
believe
I
Dankel
wanna
never
say
said
thank you to
thank you.
Kuiper
When
and
does he ever thank me once?
I
When
want to
does
say
he
thank
ever
you.
thank me once?
I want to say thank you to Kaiser.
I just want everyone to look and go.
I just want to say thank you to Kaiser and Jack for unprompted offering up my land as a concession, with like and ignoring my protests to this like multiple occasions.
Look,
Yeah,
we're the
how does it
British and
feel
you're
to-
the Czechs, so sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brayton. Thank you for your support.
By the way-
Thank you
by
for
the
this
way, I
visit.
also-
Thank
I
you,
also
at Little
suggest-
Right.
Yeah.
I also suggest that Germany gets Flanders.
Every day I wake up and then people are like, "Look, man, there's some crazy pre-game VC stuff happening at the Vic
By
3."
the way, 1 month before the game even starts. By the way, month.
Every day I wake up and there's a month-long pre-game of the Vic 3, and it's always crazy, Drake.
Thank
You
for
gotta
it.
weigh in on this, Drake. You gotta mediate. You gotta talk it out, Drake.
You gotta deal this. You gotta deal this, man. You gotta deal
Thank you,
this.
Britain. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Thank you, Drake. Parliament of the British people.
Anyway, I'll be going.
Exactly.
I'll be going now.
Alright,
All right, see you later, man.
See ya.
Alright, see you guys.
I still think we should kill Dankel.